I'm Detective Julian Ogle. That's Julianogle. I'm a detective with the Austin Police Department Auto Theft Interdiction Program. So today we're here to talk to you about a common trend referred to as the Kia Challenge. And this trend is...
I'm having issues.
You want me to start again?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Tell me if you need me to sound check. Check 1, 2.
Good.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Detective. I didn't expect to do this in one take. It's...
Are you guys all ready?
All right, good to go? Hey, good afternoon. I'm Detective Julian Ogle. That's Julianogle. I'm a detective with the Austin Police Department Auto Theft Interdiction Program. So today I'm here to talk to you about a trend commonly referred to as the Kia Challenge that you may have seen on social media. So what this is referring to is a trend exploiting a design vulnerability in some Kia and Hyundai vehicles that's allowing them to bypass the ignition using a USB cable. So if you see to the right of me, there is a video. This is an actual active case. This white Kia Soul is stolen, and the suspect crashed it into the side of a house and then fled the scene. So in a few seconds, you're going to see a second Kia and a Hyundai come into frame, and he runs toward them, and they speed off at a high rate of speed. We presume that those two vehicles are stolen and also have to do with this case. So our objective here today is to give you some tips on how to make these cars less attractive to being stolen, because what we're seeing when these vehicles get stolen is they're being used in violent felonies such as robberies, homicides, aggravated assaults, burglaries, etc. And our aim here is to prevent that today. So in Austin, the statistics have borne out that every month the thefts of these vehicles have risen appreciably. And also statewide, DPS tells us, and this is going off of their statistics, that these vehicles are appearing in the top 10 every month. So I can also tell you anecdotally, I was in a conference call last Wednesday with various representatives from the Motor Vehicle Crime Prevention Authority all across Texas, and each one of them has cited this as being a problem in their respective areas. So I'd like to go into what we're exactly, you want to go back a slide? We're talking about here. So if you see in the picture here, the column has been ripped away completely, and the actual ignition where you put the key in and turn that cylinder has been pulled away. So what that's leaving right there is a metal tag sticking out, and it's thin, and they're using the USB in to go over the metal tag and physically rotate the cylinder in order to start the vehicle. So we want to give you a few safety tips on how to prevent this. And first and foremost is buying a locking bar and putting that on your steering wheel when you're not using the vehicle, and we're going to demonstrate here in a little while of how to do that optimally. Also, there are various commercially available tracking devices, such as AirTags, but not limited to that, that you could invest in. And also, you can install a commercially available alarm system. So with that concludes my remarks. I'm going to pass you off to Detective Jimenez, who's going to brief you in Spanish.
Hola, soy el detective Jiménez con la policía de Austin. Trabajo en el unidad de robo de vehículo. Mi primer nombre es Francisco, apellido Jiménez. Vengo a platicar a ustedes con un problema que hemos tenido recientemente aquí en Austin y que está creciendo este problema. Lo que está pasando se dice comúnmente como el desafío Kia. Lo que está pasando es que muchos vehículos Kia y Hyundai por falta de diseño o por falla de diseño, están siendo robados bastantes. Entonces, lo que está pasando es que estos vehículos se están usando en crímenes violentos como robos armados, asaltos agredidos y tiroteos. Entonces, por eso venimos a platicar con ustedes para traer atención a este problema, para tratar de resolverlo, para tratar de bajar el robo de vehículo aquí en Austin y también para mejorar la seguridad de nuestra gente aquí en Austin. Vamos a platicar sobre un video que tengo. Este es un caso que tenemos abierto nosotros, donde un Kia que es robado usando este método es chocado en una casa aquí en Austin y el sujeto huye del vehículo, corre del vehículo y se presume que se mete a otros dos vehículos que son un Kia y un Honda y manejan a alta velocidad. Eso es el caso que tenemos abierto y si tienen avisos o si saben quién es esta persona, por favor contáctenos y díganos. Entonces, vamos a platicar un poco de estadísticas aquí en Austin. Okay. Han estado aumentando los robos de vehículos Kias y Hyundai aquí en Austin. Más o menos tenemos como 500 casos de robo de vehículo cada mes y han subido hasta que son como un tercio casi de robo de vehículo en total son Kias y Hyundais. También en el estado de Texas obtenimos los números de DPS y DPS ha avisado que también para ellos ha sido un problema también donde los Kias y los Hyundais han sido los vehículos 10 más altos robados en los últimos meses. Y lo mismo se puede decir de este mes que viene al tal de que se hagan cambios. Queremos dar avisos nosotros para la prevención de robo de vehículo. La prevención más que estamos avisando nosotros sería que pongan una barra para bloquear el volante, para que los sujetos, aunque se metan al vehículo, no puedan voltear el volante. Y la otra sería instalar un rastreador de GPS y también meter un sistema de alarma al vehículo también para prevenir el robo. ¿Preguntas?
Paige Hubbard with CBS Austin here. First, thanks for having us here today. My question is, how is APD working to make sure that those who are found committing these crimes will be held accountable?
So APD has been making arrests in these cases, right? So whenever the vehicle is found occupied, right, an officer runs a license plate, vehicle comes back stolen, the officer will try to make contact with the driver to make an arrest, right? If it's found unoccupied with no suspect leads, then that would come to our unit, to the auto theft detectives, to find out if there are leads, to see if we can identify a suspect and write a warrant to make an arrest.
About how many arrests have you all made as it relates to this type of crime?
I don't have the numbers. The vast majority of our arrests are made by patrol officers who come into contact with those vehicles while they're occupied. Yeah.
With the shortage of officers, does that impact detectives looking into these cases or anything like that?
It has. I mean, obviously, if we had more detectives or more officers, we'd be able to have more of an impact on this. But we're doing the best we can with the resources we have.
Do you know how many detectives you need to be at, the proper staffing to where you can look into these cases, properly?
I can't say specifically. I mean, obviously, these cases have grown significantly in a short amount of time. So we're doing the best we can to work the caseload that we have. But we do have a lot of cases, and we're working as hard as we can to try to solve those cases.
Let's talk a little bit more about those numbers. I saw the graphic y'all had up. It was from 2022 till 2023.
Correct.
Are y'all able to give us a hard number as to how many of these thefts have happened within a year span or a 6-month span even?
We can try to get those numbers for you, right? But at this moment, we just wanted to show the increase in a recent amount of time, right? And you can see pretty drastically that it goes from 33 to 150, which is 6x that amount, or 6 times that amount.
Besides the Kia and Hyundai, I was looking at the chief's last report, and it said, numbers in April were 505. It was up 12% from this time last year. Overall numbers were from 1,700 to about 1,900.
Mm-hmm.
What are you seeing, around the city and the increase in auto theft? Is it kind of everywhere? Are there certain hot spots?
So auto theft is a lot of times it's a crime of opportunity, right? It's people leaving their keys in the vehicle while the vehicle is running, leaving it unattended at the business, right? Or people leaving their keys in their car while the vehicle is unlocked while at the residence. Auto thefts, I've been in auto theft the last 3 years. Auto thefts have been going up every single year. I can't say exactly why that is, right? If it's because of rising population, or and why it happens more in one areas than in others, right? It's maybe it's population density. I can't say for sure, right? But there's different, just for, I guess for context, right? There's different things in auto theft, right? There's some vehicles that you're going to steal them because you're going to sell them, right? So they steal a different vehicle that they might sell. They might steal a vehicle to commit a robbery with it or something like that. So it's different. There's a million different things. There's not just one type of auto theft for one specific reason. What we're seeing is that a lot of stolen vehicles are being used in other felonies across the board, whether that be robberies, aggravated assaults, homicides, burglaries. You know, like if you're going to commit a burglary, you're likely going to steal a truck or a box truck, right? It's kind of what we're seeing. So there's a different type of, for whatever offense you're going to commit, there may be a specific vehicle that is sought after or used for in that incident.
Are you seeing more crime in the domain at all? We've had a lot of reports come in from that area. I mean, could you say that that is a hot spot? I mean, would you say that? Well,
it's a dense area where there's a lot of vehicles that are parked, right? So anywhere where there's a lot of dense area where vehicles are parked, they're going to be targeted, right? Such as like the airport, right? We have some cases where, you know, vehicles are there for an extended period of time and they get targeted there. Because the suspects are looking for vehicles that are unlocked with the keys in them. So they're going to go to areas where there's dense vehicles, not sparse.
Is that an area that y'all have seen more recently? I mean, can you say that you have seen more in the domain?
I can't quote that specifically, but I can just say across the board, across the entire city, auto thefts are up, you know, and in a dense area like that, I would suspect that that would be an area that it would go up.
Officer Jimenez, can you just drive home, you know, what's being done to hold these people accountable? Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of folks that's going to be watching this who maybe drive a Hyundai or a Kia who may be concerned. Can we talk specifically about, again, what steps are being taken to identify these type of crimes, and once you find them happening, what charges are they facing? What happens next after that?
So whatever these type of case, right, if we find the subject operating the stolen motor vehicle, if they were to be arrested, they would be arrested for one of two offenses, right? Theft for the value of the vehicle, which would be a state jail felony, right? Or if not, it would be unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, which is also a state jail felony. The police department is doing everything that they can to arrest these individuals, right, and solve these crimes, but these numbers are increasing at a rapid rate, and we're utilizing all the resources that we have on hand, right? We do our part by making the arrests, you know, transporting them to jail, booking them in, right, or writing arrest warrants that we get issued that we get signed by a judge, and then entering those arrest warrants into the system, and then either they get arrested by our agency or another agency. As far as anything else that happens after that, there's the whole criminal justice system, and I can't speak to that.
I know the last time I spoke with you, we were talking about recidivism, and some of the officers you've seen were seeing some of the same people reoffending. Is that still the case? Are we seeing some of these same criminals acting again once they are out on bond or whatever it may be?
Anecdotally, yes. I have seen that, but I'm only speaking for my cases.
Sorry.
Anecdotally, yes. I'm only speaking for my cases that I've seen, but I have seen familiar names come across my case queue, yes.
Relationship with the DA's office? I don't know if you can speak to this or not, but just, are you seeing, you know, it seems like the problem is stopping these people that continue to pop up in the system, but they're continually out doing this again.
I couldn't speak to why that's happening. It is my understanding that for some state jail felonies, there's a diversion program, and I don't know what the exact criterion are for somebody to be part of that program, but some people are going through that. But again, I couldn't really speak to that.
I'll leave you with this. If some of these repeat offenders were, you know, behind bars longer, would we see less of this crime continuing to happen?
I believe I do believe that is the case, because from experience being a new officer on patrol, you know, for example, I recall we were having issue with car burglaries in probably about the 5 through 7,000 block of 35 northbound and southbound, where the hotels are, kind of around 290 and 35, between there and 183. And this was happening pretty frequently. And I arrested a young man breaking into a truck, took him to jail, and he was out of circulation for a good few months. And in those few months, just because of that one person, the stats in that area for that particular crime dropped. So I know that's just one incident, but it does have an effect.
Last question from me. How did you all find out that these crimes were happening in our community?
Well, just the sheer number that we were seeing from the thefts of these Kias and Hyundais, and also all those same videos on social media, we see them too. And a lot of times patrol officers will they'll see some of these same individuals maybe on social media. They'll take a picture of that and let us know. And
in these specific cases, are you still seeing the teens with the, I mean, I know that TikTok challenge and all that. Is it teens, or you said, I mean, what are the age ranges?
I don't have that specifically, but it's overwhelmingly juveniles. When just from what we're seeing in the cameras and the arrests and everything, usually when we're seeing suspects and we have footage of suspects, they're obvious juveniles. I can tell you, I've seen footage from thefts where the kid looked like he was maybe 12, 13, 14 at the most.
And that's specifically with the Kia Hyundai?
Correct.
And one more, sorry, I have one more question. Did you all say that you do have a specific unit investigating this, or can you give us a little bit more about, is there, specific detectives that are looking into this crime?
So we the auto theft interdiction unit, we take anything that's a vehicle, heavy equipment. Essentially, if it has a VIN and or rolls on the road, we investigate it. And you just notice certain trends in the cases you receive, and the trend we've been noticing has been the uptick in these Hyundai and Kia thefts, and also from talking to other units, we have a lot of overlap with all different units. For example, burglary, robbery, homicide are big ones. So, for example, you might have somebody rob somebody for the car, or they steal a car and they're committing other robberies. So we have a lot of overlap with that. So it's something that other units have brought up as well.
Okay, thank you.
Would you say us showing them, hey, all you need is a USB or social media account, showing that encourages these people to commit these crimes?
I don't think so, because we're not telling them anything they don't already know at this point. Because, like I mentioned before, this has been going on since about 2 summers ago, about summer of 2021. So that cat's out of the bag. This is a completely well-known thing for anybody who wants to take advantage of that. So at this point, we want people to have these cars to know just how vulnerable they are, and we'd be doing them a disservice if we didn't tell them, honestly, because the number of people who don't know about this, usually older adults, it's pretty high.
Is that it? All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Oh, that's great.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
All right, so the camera guys want to go.
So we'll probably do that.
Everybody's excited. It's going to be 5, 7, 2, 5, 6.
Oh, hi.